who are the biggest disappointments this year? I know we have some preset graphics, but we can open up the dialogue a little bit. But I know we have a consensus as to who we think here.
Yeah, I think my biggest upsetting is 100% the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And I say this because this is more on the public, because no matter what the Kansas City Chiefs were doing, playing terrible, like doing everything the wrong way, the public was still all on them. Oh, they're going to come back and do this. Oh,
100%.
they're going to come back and still win the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes this and then that. And then Patrick Mahomes gets hurt and we're still talking about, their weapons and this and that. And it's just let it go. They're not going to have it this year.
This is not the year.
Just finally just kind of push them to the side a little bit. So, it definitely was disappointing because of all the talent that they do have. I know we'll talk about it a little bit later, but you talk about their cap space, right? Being over, $60 to $90 million in their cap space. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You have all these weapons, you have all these people on your team that are top players, but you're not getting it done. So this is the time where you need to take a step back, go talk upstairs, figure out what we're going to do contract-wise and how we're going to end up winning football games. Yeah. And hopefully Patrick Mahomes can come back healthy.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like, you can't really ever count out Mahomes and Andy Reid and the Chiefs. Like, when they were, what was it, like 6-9 or some shit like that, I'm like, they're going to find a way to get in. Like, we've seen this before. But, yeah.
It's Alabama in college football.
Yeah, exactly. But the reality is, like, that team just wasn't good enough all year, right? Like, they would keep themselves in games. Their defense is always kind of, like, especially lately, has kind of been their backbone, and then Mahomes just does enough late in games. But they weren't winning those games anymore like that, right? Like, they would be close, but just not enough firepower around Mahomes to really take them to that next level. So anytime the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, I feel like they're always going to be that disappointment, right?
Yep.
And to your point, like the cap, which we'll touch on in a little bit, they're in a sticky situation over there. Sticky situation. But Bobby, how about in the NFC? Who's the team we got in the NFC? Biggest disappointment?
Oh. Let me think. Honestly, I was going back to the AFC. You threw me off there.
Tell me
NFC.
Tell me AFC.
I really don't know. To me, it's got to be the Colts. I mean, they started out so hot.
Yeah.
They freaking slapped the Dolphins around week 1. They're on this, they're like, nothing can stop them. And then they start losing. And everybody was like, why are we rooting for the Colts? When we're trying to get in the playoff scenarios, why are we rooting for the Colts to lose? Because they keep losing. I mean, yeah. Obviously, Daniel Jones got hurt by the end, but dude, they fell off completely. They lost 6 straight, didn't make the playoffs. For me, it's got to be the Colts just because they did start so hot and had such a head start on the rest of the field. And to still miss the playoffs somehow is insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think, when you look at preseason expectations, Colts were not that team that you thought. It was like, holy shit, this team is the one exceeding expectations this year, right? Because they're I think they were 8-1, right? At one point in the season, you're like, holy shit, number 1 in the AFC. Like, are they going to be the top dog? Daniel Jones looks legit. Then obviously Daniel Jones gets hurt. But even before DJ got hurt, they were already kind of dwindling down. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor was having a really good year. He kind of cooled off. Teams just started figuring out how to beat them. So if you look at from midseason, I would say they're definitely the biggest disappointment considering the start that they had. But if you look at it preseason, it's probably about what they were expected to do this year. They just started off so damn hot.
Yeah. I think, their expectations before this season, you look at what they were able to accomplish. Hell of a job, right? You did, but then once they went on that run, it was like, oh, they're going to be something special. Shout out to Phillip Rivers for getting the 5 years of extra of insurance for the family. So
got him.
What a dog! What a dog! Yeah, no, it was tough. Yeah, go for it, Bobby.
Yeah, since I dropped the ball earlier, I'll pivot to the NFC now. I'll take one because there's a few big ones, and I'll leave some meat on the bones for the boys. But I think first and foremost, got to be Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, Detroit is what you consider the modern day juggernaut, or so we thought. They lose both coordinators, and they just turn into chopped cheese, right? So, for me, Detroit's got to be there. Dan Campbell, you're on fraud alert. We're watching you now. So we're gonna see what's going on with Detroit.
Damn, fraud alert for our boy Campbell, dude.
You can't lose both coordinators and everything fall apart. It just, it's got to go back to the head coach now, especially when you see how Ben Johnson's doing.
Yeah. But then you look at Aaron Glenn, and it's probably not even an Aaron Glenn problem, though. It's
but the Jets.
The
Jets.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I do think Lions, 13-win team last year.
Yep.
Then you finished last in the division. I mean, that division pretty stacked considered, Minnesota, Chicago, and Who else we got in that division?
Packers.
Packers, yeah. Which you could make the argument Packers disappointing season the way they started. They look like the juggernaut, right? Like they look like they could beat everybody and anybody. Obviously, Parsons gets hurt. It's gonna derail a lot for your defense.
When you watch those games for the Packers, almost every single play you see some way, somehow, Micah was involved.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was rushing off the edge or chasing a guy down on the sideline. That guy is electric, so he's definitely going to come back. After he just got that big payday.
Yeah.
Definitely come back for vengeance.
Hell yeah. All right, well, let's talk set of disappointments. Who are our biggest improvements on the NFL season? Teams that took a big leap this year. You can make the argument that those two teams in the Super Bowl are part of that discussion, but outside of that, who else do you think made some big improvements this year?
I would say the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think, Trevor Lawrence still isn't playing the highest caliber of football, but he's managing it, right? And then you look at, Jags' defense. They're doing a great job on defense.
Mm-hmm.
They got a freaking boomstick at kicker for in Cam Little. So I think they're definitely going to take advantage of that next year, taking those big shots. But I think they're starting to build a complete team. And that's what you need when you look at, someone like Seattle was able to do what they do. And then they're getting a new stadium. I know it's not going to be done until 2028, but that new stadium's going to be sick. I know they're pumped and excited for it. But I think the Jags was definitely something that I wasn't expecting. And, I was really excited to see another team in Florida, doing well. I feel like when teams in Florida are well, it helps all of football. So hopefully the Jags can figure things out.
Probably going to be the best team.
Liam Cohen is doing a great job too. His little Duval. He's going to be a good one.
No, he's legit. And I mean, you look at Etienne, he took a huge leap this year, right? He had a down year. Everyone was kind of counting him out. People wanted to kick the Jags over to London and send them overseas and be like, this team's done. We don't need them over here. But they look good. And I don't know. Like, I thought Trevor Lawrence looked really good this year. I think people were kind of like, damn, they shouldn't have paid him. A lot of like that same Tua kind of conversation. Yeah. But I watched a couple of those Jags games, and Trevor Lawrence made some big time throws when you need him.
He was dealing, he was dealing.
He was hooping, and he's athletic, right? So he can use his legs when you need him. Like, he's got everything, and if he can continue to piece that together and play well, I mean, shit, I think the Jags could.
The atmosphere is great over there in Jacksonville too, especially for those playoff games, the night games. It's nuts. Yeah, Trevor had me a little nervous sometimes, but he was able to get it done. I remember there was the one where he fumbled the ball and then picked it up and ran to the end zone. It was like up, down, not knowing what's going on. But yeah, definitely excited for them.
Yeah. Bobby, who do you got biggest improvement this year? I mean, I think we're all in the same boat about Jacksonville for sure.
Yeah. Jacksonville is the clear, obvious one. I think another one, I'll go a little off the beaten path here because of what I expected. But I do think it's we'll see how they follow it up. But I'll go with the Panthers. Obviously the NFC South is its own thing, but they did win that division, and obviously that goes back to disappointments a little bit. The Bucs obviously very disappointed, but I think the Panthers. I mean, I didn't think they were ready to compete at all, and I know it's the NFC South, but they did win the division, and then they did give the Rams a damn handful in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like they snuck in and then got their ass kicked. Like, they went toe to toe with the Rams and had every chance to even win that game. So I'll go with the Panthers.
I like that. I think that's the game you have to go back to at the end of the day is the Rams playoff game, right? What were they, 10-point dogs at home?
Yep.
Like, no one even gave them no one even gave them a damn chance, and here they are in the fourth quarter with a lead.
I didn't.
Right? Yeah, most people did it, but it was like, shit, okay, maybe these guys can't hang. Yeah, you can make the argument the division sucks and all that, and they snuck in with all those like situational week 18, crap, which, any given week 18, I'll take that all day. I mean, but they made it in and they hung around. They hosted a home playoff game, crowd was in it. And to be 10-point dogs and basically have a chance to win, a playoff game, which arguably could have been a team that was in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, they could have, beat Seattle in that NFC Championship game. That was a back and forth game. So I do like Carolina, but to me, the biggest improvement is Chicago Bears. Like, what we saw, what Ben Johnson did over there, Caleb Williams, that fucking fourth down play, bro, was out of control. Out of control. Like, probably arguably one of the best playoff plays I've seen in a long time. But considering what they were able to do, I think they were a 4-win team last year to then jump to, 12 wins this year, it is impressive, right? So I think they're going to be another team to watch again this year. A lot of like the preseason, or end of postseason sort of preseason discussions. Now, are that like Caleb MVP next year? Bears winning the division, can make a run for the Super Bowl. And based off the color of the Super Bowl graphics, it should be the Bears and Dolphins in the Super Bowl from what I'm speculating. Right, Bobby?
Yeah.
Bears, Dolphins, Super Bowl?
Oh, for sure. Dolphins definitely going to bounce back with zero cap room and
I think I shocked
$52 million dead cap to the quarterback. I was going to let you get your punchline in because it was clearly a joke, but you actually got me wanting to go on a tangent about the Dolphins now, and I'm not going to do that to the show.
No, so, it's okay. It's okay.
Don't get me started.
Oh man. But yeah, I mean, I do think
the Bears maybe.
Yeah. Bears definitely one of those teams. It is always interesting though. First year head coach. Can they replicate that in a second year, third year? Now you got film on how they try to operate. But I do think they got a good team over there. I don't know what their cap situation is or who's going to be able to return. But when Caleb's playing the way he played at the end of last year, I think
Caleb built a lot of confidence in himself. And not only just that, I think the trust built so much with him and Ben Johnson throughout the entire season.
Yes.
I talked about it, on one of the last shows. When I saw Caleb give that game ball to Ben Johnson, that was where it was like, okay, we're in this together.
Yeah.
Like we're, side by side, we're going to go attack. And I think, also just adding weapons. They had guys like, Romo Odunze, they had Colson Lovin that they drafted, they have DJ Moore, they have, all these different pieces for Caleb to now not only be aggressive on the run game, but able to throw the ball up and know he's going to have receivers down there. So now it's just about adding those last few pieces with what they have in their cap. How can they renegotiate some contracts and then, just go play football at the end of the day. So I think their defense was very good.
Yes.
Their defense was very good. And at the end of the day, defense wins championships. You see that all over the place. So I think next year they're definitely going to be the team to beat.
They were playing with fire a lot during the year. I mean, I don't know how many fourth quarter comebacks they had throughout the course of the season. So they got to be, a little cautious when it comes to that next year. But, I think when the Bears are good, it's also good for football as well.